For me, what I'm looking for at the ADA is new innovations that will reduce the burden of people managing their type 1 diabetes particularly. And there are some exciting things in the technology field that are happening. The other thing that I am interested by is the very rapid development of technologies, both in terms of glucose sensing and insulin delivery, and particularly the rapid advance in the use of continuous glucose monitoring and its link to insulin delivery. But there are some problems associated with that are going to need exploring. At present, the semi-closed loop systems are not perfect. They require a lot of user input, and how people use them and how they interact with the technology is going to be key to their success. There was a very interesting late-breaking poster abstract which pointed out that if you have high levels of anxiety about your diabetes, it doesn't get better as a result of using these advanced technologies. It really doesn't change your anxieties. And I think that is something that's important, because there was some evidence for one presentation that with some of these devices, people just stop using them because they're too complicated and they're not quite good enough yet. But they are making good progress. One of the issues that's being hotly debated is the importance of asymptomatic hypoglycemia, particularly now that we're picking up a lot of extra hypoglycemia on continuous glucose monitoring in both type 1 and type 2. And one of the arguments being pushed is that therefore we need the CGM to find this hypoglycemia, but what is becoming apparent is that we don't really understand the meaning yet of all CGM diagnosed hypoglycemia for people with diabetes, because we are picking up a large number of episodes where the blood glucose appears to be quite low on the CGM for quite a long time in the night particularly. And we don't know what impact that has on the patient function or anything that happens the next day. And one extremely interesting poster had a very surprising result. It used blinded CGM in people with type 1 diabetes and basically was unable to find any impact of nocturnal hypoglycemia that the patient hadn't known about at the time on mood or quality of life. Quite stringently assessed. And interestingly, in the small group of people with impaired awareness of hypoglycemia, the people who are at biggest risk for severe hypoglycemia, the effect was really very unexpected. They actually had a better quality of life when they woke up in the morning after a period of asymptomatic hypoglycemia. Now that's very hard to understand and clearly needs some further investigation, but it does fit with a growing body of evidence that suggests that people who have problems perceiving their hypoglycemia do have a very different cognitive and emotional response to the hypoglycemia, which needs to be understood and recognized if we're going to help them avoid severe hypoglycemia in the future.